Hello, my expat friends. Deb Anderson, thank you for passing this on. I sent an email out a few weeks ago. Uh, Paul Rayner, or Pablo, I prefer to be called. Um, I own Atlantis Salute Spa here in Ecuador. And as you know, recently we've all been going through the process of finding a good insurance company. Gel Jenica was recommended because they gave the service. They traveled up to Alon and all of the coast and looked great, yes. I can tell you I'm more than extremely upset with my service, and I want to warn you, it's time to change if you're with them. Firstly, you can see they're sending out emails apologizing for problems. You've got no idea. My wife was rushed to hospital. We rang them and said, listen, I don't have time to talk to you. I'm putting my wife in a car now. We're rushing to Omni Hospital, which is a beautiful place, one of the best hospitals in the world as far as I'm concerned. I've had experience with several people who have had major emergency surgery there. So I know them very well. Those that know me, I work with people with cancer, and we have people that sometimes need some treatment done, and I have good working relationship with the doctors in Omni Hospital. Also learn a few things about, before you go, you can negotiate prices, and we're actually going to work out a price for my clients and anybody else want to know. So the normal room price, for example, is $360 a night, but we can negotiate that down to $100 off. The insurance pays $300. But here's what happened. I had 10 clients at my spa, and these people from Gel Jenica, they visited us and they gave us the cell, and we bought it. So this is what we asked like so many times. I have people coming here in groups of 5 to 10 people every few months. And so I wanted to have some protection for them. If we're driving and have a car accident, I want them to be covered in an emergency, their legs ripped off. So they said 100% in an emergency you're covered. Everything else, 30 days, 60 days, you have some waiting for dental and blood things and things like that. But in emergency, don't be concerned. You're 100% covered. What a friggin' lie. Now, my wife, they came on a particular date. We organized insurance, and we thought for an emergency we're covered the next day. So here we go, several months down the track, and my wife has an emergency. She's bleeding badly, and instead of going local, I chose to, because we had insurance, to go all the way to Omni Hospital, get her in there, ring my friends. They put her in, run a whole lot of tests, and anyway, that's another story. We get the results in a week, and God prays that her colon cancer is gone and she's well and healthy. We get the results this Friday. She was in for a while, and the cost was a lot. Anyway, the system is this. When you go to the hospital, they ask your insurance, they ring and check. They rang my insurance, and they said they only cover the $1,000 for the emergency. I said, yes, that's fine. In the emergency room, we're there for 5 or 6 hours, and then they transfer us to the room. And I'm guaranteed, it's an emergency situation, I'm covered. You're not covered for 3 months. Really important that you know that. You think you're covered. We asked them 10 times, if I fly people over here and there is an emergency, are they covered? The fact is, did they lie or not lie? No, they didn't lie, but they didn't tell the truth. In an emergency, you spend more than $1,000 if your leg is ripped off, if your brain is cut open, if you fall over or something runs into you. It's going to cost, even the oncologist said, they laughed, even all of the people who come into emergency, they end up with fees more than $1,000. So here we are. Now hear this. I signed the papers on a particular date. It was over 3 months, but I refused to give them cash. Why? Because I think if we're doing business with somebody, it needs to be traceable. So I insist, use my credit card and charge the card. They took 2 or 3 weeks to do it. As a result, even the 3 months, we weren't within the 3 months because of their stupidity, not mine. So as a result, I'm nearly $10,000 out of pocket with the whole 2.5 week experience. Like, fuck! The last thing I expected and wanted, and it wasn't a comfortable situation to go downstairs and they give me the bill. I go, wow, I went and got everything from the bank I could. I had enough to cover it. And then they said, oh, you also have another $2,500 the doctor's fees. Well, I'm privileged. I know the doctors well, and I've taken a lot of people there, and as a result, we negotiated it down. But that was an uncomfortable 5 hours, and they don't let... I don't speak Spanish. My wife's up there waiting, from 10 o'clock, and it's 3 o'clock by the time I go back. They don't let her exit the room until the bill is paid. So you're temporarily in jail, yes? You have to laugh, but when you're in the moment, it's not funny. So I can only call these people bastards. They fucking lied. And I even rang them up. I said, listen, we have an emergency. Are we covered? Yes, but only for $1,000. So did they lie? No. But did they lie? Yes. Because if you have an emergency and your leg's cut off or you're bleeding badly, as in the case of my wife, it's going to cost you more than $1,000. So, if you're in an emergency situation, you don't have time to ring a call center and negotiate. This is where I want to go. The idea of insurance is you choose your doctor and you go to the hospital you want. So I'm looking for another one. I'm going to give you an update in a week. We didn't cancel yet because we're waiting for the results and seeing if there's fees. We're past the 3 months, they'll pay for it. We have to re-go through the 3 months again. But I'll gladly do that rather than give these bastards another dollar. And I strongly recommend you don't use them, and if you're with them, you cancel, because you can see by their emails, they're struggling. It doesn't matter what the situation is. You can't afford to risk being in this situation that I was put in. Imagine if you have major brain surgery and a heart disease or heart attack and need a bypass. You can't rely on these bastards, because straight up is a lie. Even when we rang them, I'm on the way, they said, you'll be fine, you'll be covered. Yes, I'm positive you're covered. You don't even fucking know. Because we weren't covered for nothing except the $1,000 in the room, and that $1,000 they only pay $800, 80%. There are companies we've found now that pay 100% of everything. We're wanting to meet with them face to face and talk and make sure there's no bullshit and it's clear. I will be meeting with them this weekend, God willing, everything goes well, and I will update you and send you the information. But I'm very hesitant. In Ecuador, people make arrangements and they're like on wet paper. Oh, sorry, the paper fell apart. It's not, recently you saw an email, somebody thought she was in a house for 12 months and had to leave. I've had the strangest experience, yes. I was staying in one place in Alon. We were paying $1,500 a month, yes. What a sucker I was. And we had no signed contract, but I needed it to register my business. I needed a lease in my name. So I paid for a lease to be put in my name with this lady. And we were there for a year, and I said to her, we're going to move out to another place. And I gave notice, we're up to date on rent. And she said, you need to pay the electricity. I said, yes, okay, this is where we're moving. Give us the factura when it comes, and I pay you, no problem. I gave her the address, she know my phone number. It was like $40, yes. This lady, because I left before I paid, even though the bill hadn't arrived, she took me to court. What a joke. Even the lady, the administrator said, I said, how can you pay something you don't know what is yet? It's $40. We're paying $1,500, and she'd take us and waste your time for $40. It's ridiculous. So things are strange here, yes, and especially with people from overseas seem to be worse than the local people. I've had less problems with renting from people from Ecuador. They're beautiful people. I love this country. It's my home. I've been here for 4 years. I've married a local. We have a 13-year-old daughter, and I couldn't recommend to anybody a better place to relocate on the coast of Ecuador. It is beautiful here. And the expats I've met are all nice. They're all in different stages of their life. Some are here working. Some are working online a lot, I think. And some are retired, they have income coming in and just enjoying life and so on. The insurance is needed if you're staying here. My understanding is you need to have insurance if you are here for more than 90 days. If it's less than 90 days, you don't need it. But I recommend to everybody that's traveling here, get travel insurance. It's $300 to $750, $800 maybe. But it's a small price to pay for peace of mind, for your items being stolen, for an accident. Accidents, that's what they're called, accidents, because they happen. So travel insurance, if you're coming here for 30 days, tell the insurance, bring the insurance company up and say, you know, you may extend your stay. We're automatically prepaying travel insurance for everyone that comes to stay at our health spa. The reason being, accidents happen, and we had one gentleman who came here. He thought he had this little problem anyway. Through my diagnosis, and then I took him to Omni Hospital and confirmed he ended up having a football-sized tumor. I have the photos. It's frightening. The operation cost him $17,000. That may not have been covered under, it was emergency, and it wasn't what he thought he had, but he did have pre-existing cancer. So the bottom line is that these questions I'm asking the insurance company, and you know, you hear, like we had Ron, one of the expats who, you know, hurt his leg. He ended up going through the free system here. It's free if you damage yourself, but you know, they don't supply blankets or food in the hospital, but they make up for it with enthusiasm, love, and care. The doctors that work in the private system are very creative and really good people. So I wouldn't have any problem going through that. But if you have a choice of having private cover for, you know, we were paying $300 a month to these bastards, $300 a month, $3,600 a year. You know, if the world was an honest place, you know, there's 20,000, 25,000 expats here. Let's say 10,000 of you want insurance. 10,000 times $300 a month, $200 a month, or $100 a month. We could cover and protect every one of us if any situation arose with those sort of funds immediately. You know, just do the sums. You know, 1,000 times 200. Let's say we say $200 each. We could do it. But the problem is there's no honesty. There's no way of setting it up, and there's always people abusing the system. And so we can't do that. I'd love that. I think that would be a great solution. If you're in a small community of 10 or 20 houses, 20 people, 20 couples, 40 people insurance, that would work. You could probably make it work because you can visually see the situation the person's in, and if there's an emergency, we back one another. And there's communities like that being formed all over the US. I heard about a lot of them where they're, instead of paying the $3,000 a year to some insurance company, they're putting it all into a trust fund with 2 or 3 people in charge, and that sets up your protection. If anyone's willing to do it, I think that would be a great idea. But anyway, I'll sign off with, you hear CELLGENICA, change insurance companies. You have to go through the way. What a crazy system. In Australia, if you change insurance companies, there's no re-waiting. You're covered, and if you've already done your 1 year waiting or 2 years waiting or whatever, you don't have to re-wait that. But in this situation, you do. All of the insurance companies I spoke to, you have to re-wait the 30, 60, 90-day waiting period they have. So you don't have a choice in that. So, but I don't want to rely on being with these bastards. If we end up in 6 months, 12 months' time, I have my father had emergency heart surgery. What happens if I feel great, but what happens if the situation happens and I need something? That the same as you. We don't know what next week, next month, or next year hold for us. We're all old bastards, the bottom line. And, you know, sudden things going wrong or accidents are called accidents because they're things you didn't expect. So, I'll sign off. I can brag's not the word. I can go on for hours because I'm so fucking angry. I waited 2 weeks to cool off because I can tell you I wanted to kill these bastards. I was really angry at the time. the whole process, even sitting in hospital 24 hours, we're in bed, he confirmed, yes, don't be concerned, you'll be covered, you'll be covered. And after a week, we find out we're not covered. Oh, I can't tell you the anger I felt. And my wife is not healthy and she's stressing. I said, no, honey, it'll be okay. Don't worry. She said, no, let's get out of here now and we'll go to the public system. I said, no, I want you to have the best of care. This is not something I want to risk. Diagnosed a year ago with colon cancer, treatment for 6 months, suddenly a lot of bleeding. We want to know if you're okay or it's getting worse. If it's getting worse, we need to look at other options. Because if on 6 months of my program you didn't get a result, we need to change. Those that know me know that Atlantis Salute Spa works in the area of oncology. We help people do alternative therapy safely. We have people travel from all over the world to come here to do these programs. We're opening up our first franchise, subject to approval at the moment in Salinas. It's going to be a fantastic facility. It's also going to have robotic, mobile, walking assistance and special programs for people that have mobility issues, like me, stroke victims, and paraplegic victims. The only place in the world that offers, like, you can get robotics, but you can't get robotics and peptide injections into the spine and hyperbaric oxygen. Nobody's got them all under one roof. So we're putting a team of specialized doctors together. This is the first franchise. The hospital we're building will be 100-bed facilities on 100 acres. We're finalizing approval for that. We ran for 6 months here and everything went great. We had 60 people waiting list. So we're very, very excited where we're at. We're going to employ about 100 people. So at the moment, we're looking for more English-speaking nurses, doctors, physiotherapists, chiropractors. If you're in the Salinas area or looking at coming to this area, that you're a retired doctor, want to do some work, we're keen to have you as part of, to talk to you to see if you fit in to be part of our team. You must accept that there's another way than the traditional system. We don't talk people out of the traditional system, but having my ex-partner become a paraplegic and then just left in the house, it made me research and fight to find something for people in that situation. So I found it, and the new website will be up in about 2 weeks, and 2 or 3 weeks. The business plan is almost completed. It's being translated to Spanish at the moment. We had the government visit us, and they were so excited about our plans. It's really good to be in a place where government has an open heart, an open mind, to know that there are other options, and they understand that the American and Australian system is brilliant in so many ways, but it's bankrupt. It's a sad system that is it's bankrupting the countries. Their prices, even pharmaceutical tablets. Here I was paying a particular tablet that I used to take 6 a day. I only need 1 a day now, thank goodness. My pain has reduced a lot after double knee problem. But they were almost $40 a packet in Australia, and here they're $7.50, the same product. It's really, those people still in those countries are still being ripped off, or their insurance companies are. Insurance is good, but also it's caused this license to print money, I think. The people don't have to pay for it now. Some system pays for it, so we can sneak the prices up and nobody will notice. Crazy. So anyway, IV vitamin C, colonic irrigation, hyperbaric oxygen, GSM-AF, which is good for many different diseases. Search online that these services will be making available. I'll come back to you, I hope, in a week to 2 weeks. It's my honeymoon. I'm going away for a week, possibly next week. But I'll come back to you with what we decide to do with the insurance, and it's up to you. I'm not an insurance expert, but I know this company, it's time to cut off their head. They're having problems. They don't have a call set. They're just not set up, and the people are hard to get. And when they get you, they gave all the wrong answers. Yes, you're insured. No, don't be concerned. Don't be concerned. Yeah, well, where are they now when I have the bill? When you're sitting there with $8,000 and they don't let your wife out of the room. I was just so lucky that I was in the situation that I knew people there, and I was 2,000 short on the bill, and they adjusted it for me. It was a miracle. It was a godsend. I was praying hard, I can tell you. They wiped me out financially at the time, you know. And they even when they worked it all out, they gave me $350. I said, "Well, how come you're giving me change?" They said, "I don't want you not to eat for the next week." They were so nice. So I'll sign off with that positive note, because I tell you, this would have been a very aggressive video if I had rang you or contacted you any earlier. Godspeed. Stay safe. Think about things before you do them. But if you've moved here and you're a little bit scared or unsure, this is the greatest country on the planet. It's a land of opportunity. They used to always call Australia the land of opportunity in the 60s. Coming here, I see what people mean. You know, the prices here are the same as they were in the 60s and 70s, and they're going up rapidly. Many of us are too old to take advantage of that. But you can buy with confidence to know that if you're going to be here for 10 years, you're going to get a good return on that investment. It's safe. The other thing, just before I sign off, we will be opening an aged care facility. I'm sure a lot of you are interested in that. So the 100 acres we're finalizing the purchase on within the next 3 or 4 months, there'll be an aged care facility there. There'll be a health spa there. There'll be pools with aromatherapy, squash court, tennis courts. All of that's going to be built on this facility. So some of you may be interested. There's 30 blocks of land for expats that will be available. So I don't know if anybody here is interested. I'm going to fill that. We're going to have 100 employees. So if you're in the health industry, in the spiritual industry, in the massage industry, you know, these houses are not going to be, they're going to be very high standard. They're all going to have a bunker and join to a big bunker underneath the facility. I believe that World War III or a disaster is pending, and it just makes sense to be prepared for that. But they will be economic, these places, and so I'm just dropping a seed there to let you know that is the details of that you will know before June this year. Everything will be finalized. The planning will be approved, and we'll be starting to build. And people can move in by Christmas. All going well, and nothing here happens quickly in Ecuador. We all know that. The people who are doing business here, you know, you pay $1.50, $2 more at an expat, but it's okay to do that because they went through a lot to get to that stage of opening that shop, and you know, they all need a pat on the back. They're all beautiful people, and they're trying to survive just like you, me, and everybody else. Anyway, I'll sign off. Like I said, I can talk forever. There is a problem. The only person that's worse than me is my wife. God bless. Stay safe, and I'll be catching up with you. Deb Anderson seen our facility when we were in down on the coast. We've closed there. The owner of the property is selling the property, so he asked us to move, and we didn't want to dispute that. Again, 3 months cleaning up, operating for 4 months, three to 4 months, and then having to move out. It wasn't nice, but anyway, those things happen, and you have to roll with the punches in Ecuador. That's the secret. Roll with the punches. And if somebody in the insurance company rips you off like this, maybe you need to give him a punch. But anyway, we'll let him off the hook now. He's just a salesman trying to make a dollar, and he's not going to get any more of my dollars. Okay, bye for now.